Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen and a warm welcome to the new subscribers. You know, I thought that I had uploaded this recipe to my channel and it turned out that it's not on my playlist, so I decided to do it this time for that reason. The one that I uploaded though was the pork and wine sauce, and I will leave that recipe at the end of the video. I'll show you how I make my beef stew, and I'm also gonna plate it in two different ways. So let's get started. You want to use inexpensive beef like chuck roast. It's tough, but it turns out tender, juicy, and delicious. The first thing is to marinate the beef overnight with red wine, fresh thyme, and garlic. I use a California Merlot. You can use a local red wine. You want your food to taste like the land where you live in. Now in a saucepan, I am gonna add the wine, the thyme, and the garlic. And let me ask you, do you marinate the beef before making your stew? Let me know in the comments. I am warming up the marinade in low heat for 5 minutes. I want the thyme and the garlic to release their flavor and to flavor the wine. Now we're gonna let it cool down, and once it's at room temperature, we're gonna add it to the beef, and we're going to put the marinade and the beef in the fridge overnight. The next day, that's the way it looks. I took it out of the fridge about 2 hours before starting to cook for two reasons. I need to drain the marinade, and I need the beef to come down to room temperature before I brown it. I'm gonna prep all the ingredients. That's gonna make my life much easier. But before that, I will reserve the marinade. I'm not gonna waste anything. The French call this part the mise en place, or we call it the prep work, or to have everything ready. It makes your cooking go more smoothly. I am adding the basics: roasted potatoes, celery, carrots, garlic, and a sweet onion. And cut them in chunks, about 2-inch pieces. It's not a big deal. Next, I'm gonna do a bouquet garni, and that is a cheesecloth. And that's where I'm going to put the bouquet garni. I put 2 sprigs of fresh thyme. If you don't like it too lemony, just put one sprig of rosemary, 1 bay leaf, 1 clove, and a little orange rind without the white part, because the white part is bitter. Why do I bother with that? Because it will be easier to remove from the pot once the stew is done. And I can see very well, and trying to fish the clove, the bay leaf, and bits and pieces of the thyme and rosemary would be a little too much work for me. That's why I do it this way. Can't see. I just tie it all up with kitchen twine and set it aside. I added oil to a pot, and I'm going to reheat it on medium-high heat. Before pat drying the beef on paper towels, I don't want the meat splattering too much, not to mention that the water or the wine reaches a max temperature of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and I need it at 280 degrees Fahrenheit or more in order to brown quickly. If I don't do that, then the beef will steam and it's not going to brown. And the browning is basically just the caramelization of the sugars in the beef. Let me know if you do it the same way I do it in the comments below. I am using sunflower oil because it has a higher smoking point. You don't want to use extra virgin olive oil because it will burn very quickly. The oil is very hot and ready to brown the beef. It is better to use a wide bottom and tall pan so you don't have to clean your stove afterwards. And in my stove, it took about 2 minutes on each side. It goes very quickly. And if you're cooking more than 2 pounds, you'll do it in 2 batches only. So once the beef is brown, reserve it in a bowl. All those bits and pieces of beef at the bottom of the pan are flavor. Now I lowered the temperature to medium. I'm gonna brown the veggies for 10 minutes. When they start to release their juices, I am going to deglaze with a wooden spoon. See how easy it is once you have everything ready to go? You just start putting stuff in the pot. By the way, I forgot one step. I should have browned the pancetta before putting the veggies in. I'll show you in a minute how I solved that issue. And we're adding 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. And we're gonna cook it or saute it for about 2 minutes. And we're gonna raise the temperature to medium high again. Now I throw in the bouquet garni, add the chopped potatoes. I removed the skin on one potato but left it on the other one. Remember that the vitamins and minerals are on the potato skin. I'm gonna use some of the skinless potatoes for the sauce in a little bit. You're gonna see. Now add the beef and its juices to the pot. As you can see, the beef is brown but not cooked through. Right now the beef is really tough. Now I'm adding the marinade and I will cook it for 5 minutes. I removed the thyme sprigs. You want to hear the wine boiling, and once it turns into a syrupy consistency, turn off the stove, add salt and pepper to taste, mix well and transfer everything to your pressure cooker. Continuing on the stovetop is gonna take 1.5 to 2 hours for the meat to get tender. On the pressure cooker, on the other hand, it's gonna take 30 minutes, so it pays off doing it this way. I had the pancetta covered with paper towel and I forgot to add it to the pan earlier, so I put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and boom, problem solved. Next, I add more red wine and allow it to boil. I put the browning setting on the pressure cooker. Again, I don't want to taste alcohol in the stew, that's why I am allowing it to evaporate. After those 5 minutes, I add the chicken broth, put the lid on high pressure, close it. I set the timer for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I put it on pressure release, allow the steam to come out, open and get a piece of beef to see how tender it is. I'm checking things out. If it is not tender enough, give it another 5 to 10 minutes on the pressure cooker. Mine was perfectly tender, juicy after that time. And comes apart easily with a fork, as you can see. Now I can serve it the traditional way, or I can bring it up a couple of notches. I can serve it that way. Is it bad? No. But I can make a sauce that will knock your socks off. Let's make the sauce. Remove the bouquet garni. See how easy it is? You don't have to fish anything out of the pot. It serves its purpose, flavoring everything in the stew, so now that goes into the trash. That easy. I remove the carrots, potatoes, and beef and set them aside. In a blender, I am putting some pieces of potatoes without the skin, all the onions, the garlic, the celery, and the broth, and I am going to blend everything into a sauce. All the flavors from the stew are right there. In all that is good stuff. That's gonna elevate this dish from ordinary to extraordinary. Trust me. One way to find out if the sauce